Hello, friends. This is Professor MCal. Thanks for tuning in. It's been quite a while since I uploaded. I'm happy to be back. I'm going to try to upload a little bit more often. Um, I hope to hear from you all soon and that we can have a great conversation. I did reply to some comments recently. Please keep them coming. This one is going to be an introduction to Magick. Many of you know this topic fairly well. If you don't, this is going to be a very, very preliminary, very basic introduction to what magic is. Again, very basic. This is a topic that you could study for the rest of your life, that you could get into for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. It's never ending. So this is very, very preliminary. This is just to kind of kick things off and get started up again. So introduction to magic. Magic, what is it? Defined by Aleister Crowley as a science of causing change in conformity with the will. We talk about Crowley a lot. If you're going to talk about this topic, especially in a modern sense, you can't leave him out. Like I've said before, it's like talking about physics and not bringing up Einstein. However, the practice of magic is thousands of years old. It has many different forms. It's a spiritual science of inner exploration. There's many physical ways of performing magic, ritual, seals, sigils, signs, chanting, all of this kind of stuff. Basically, the real magic, however, can be facilitated by ritual work, but it really is the the way that you think of something or imagine something and then bring it into the world. So a real magician will think of something and then do it immediately to make it real. We've talked about Solomon's magic before. King Solomon's magic is a great starting point for anybody that's interested in this stuff. It shows you, how to make the basic magical tools, the wand, the rod, how to inscribe different holy names, shows you how to make the magical circle, etc., and so forth. If you're interested in this stuff, this is a great place to start. This book that I'm showing on the screen here to the left is the best translation of this stuff that I have found. Solomon's magic is indispensable. I could do a whole presentation just on Solomon's magic itself. Shows you how to invoke angels and evoke demons, how to make yourself invisible by means of a ring, all kinds of really, really wild and gnarly stuff. The magic circle is where you would perform ritual work or magical work. At the top, you have the black mirror or another magical tool that you would put within the circle inside the triangle. The magician stays inside of the circle, surrounded by the holy names in the north, south, east, and west. This is where you are protected if you're going to summon spirits or do any conjurations. If you consecrate the magic circle and stay inside of it, you cannot be, attacked or, got at by any forces, etc. The magic circle, again, is extremely complex. As you can see, there's a lot of Hebraic writing within the circle. There's a lot of symbolism, a lot of stuff going on here. You could do a whole presentation just on the circle itself. Is it good or evil? Like any tool, it depends entirely on the individual. Philosophies are not inherently good or evil. They can be made that way by the person that develops them. There are practices out there that are inherently evil. There is Satanism. There's, black magic, which I wouldn't call black magic inherently evil, but, that's really debatable. Spiritual development is in the mind and the heart. The purpose of magic and the purpose of the individual is going to come out in that person's magical works. Magic itself is just a tool and a set of ideas, principles, rituals, etc., and so forth. You can use them for what you want to use them for. The Golden Dawn is a magical society that still exists today. I believe it was founded in the late 19th century. If you're interested in knowing more about the late 19th century and the early 20th century and the occult revival that went on, I have a video about that. It's pretty thorough. The Golden Dawn uses complex occult symbolism to express its ideas about the unfolding of consciousness. That is the rose cross in the center. There's the cross with the rose in it. It represents the unfolding of consciousness. In the East, they do this as well. However, they use the lotus flower instead for that symbol. The Golden Dawn is where Aleister Crowley started his magical career. The Golden Dawn engages in a lot of King Solomon's magic and different, rituals and ideas and practices that are, I don't want to say mainstream, but maybe a little bit more digestible, perhaps. It still exists today. It's run by a couple of very interesting people. You can become a member. They do have temples throughout the United States. I'm sure they're in Europe as well. And they deal with magic in what I have seen in a pretty straightforward way. I mean, as straightforward as you can get. The Golden Dawn is a very interesting group. Now we have Thelema. Thelema was some people will call it a religion. I don't think it's really a religion. It's really more a set of ideas, philosophical principles, and hardcore old school Egyptian elements of Egyptian religion. This was the spiritual philosophy of Crowley. Again, he was magnanimous in what he knew and what he did in this field. So Thelema is his belief system. There are Thelemites out there who consider Crowley a prophet, and they do practice his magical system, which is the Thelemic system, is his magical system. He did not create anything brand new with Thelema. Rather, he consolidated a lot of ancient ideas, rituals, magical principles, etc., and streamline them into a digestible set of philosophic and magical principles that can be understood and practiced with study over time. Thelema is exceedingly complex. It deals with the goddess Nuit, the god Hadit, and then there's one more. The name escapes me right now. But this is an extremely complex set of ideas. Thelema really only started to make sense to me recently. I knew about it for a long time. I've studied Crowley for a long time and Thelema on a periphery level, but I've been a little bit more into it lately in understanding the literature. It's practiced by the OTO, or the Ordo Templi Orientis. Their main kind of what do I want to call it here? Not a catchphrase, but they kind of abide by the "do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." Love is the law, love under will ideology, and they recite that before they go into their meetings, before they do presentations or rituals or whatever it is. Again, there's a exceedingly complex level of occult symbolism here. You have the universal hexagram in the middle. Crowley added the flower here. You have these different, yin yangs. You have the 7-pointed Star of Babylon, the moon at the top of the pyramid, the inverted pentagram. I mean, it's exceedingly complex. You could do a presentation on just this on its own for sure. Thelema is extremely interesting, and it's really a consolidated set of spiritual principles and ideas that are exceedingly old. They were just kind of put into a comprehensible, a comprehensive set by Crowley. The Rose Cross, again, symbolizes the unfolding of consciousness here. It's got a lot in common with the lotus flower. The Rosicrucians are basically the order of the Rose Cross. They practice philosophical wisdom, mysticism, and any kind of ideas that will lead to that expansion of consciousness. So you have the Rosicrucian group that is actually within the Masons. There is one Rosicrucian group that you have to be a Mason to get into. There are some others that you don't, like the Ancient Mystical Order of the Rose Cross, which is a Rosicrucian group. I don't know that they are descendant of the original Rosicrucians from the Middle Ages, but they are out there. The AMORC, Ancient Mystical Order of the Rose Cross, and there's also a set of degrees within Masonry within the 4th to the 32nd degree. There's a chapter of degrees there. I'm not sure what the numbers are, but there's a chapter of degrees that are known as the Rose Cross or Rosicrucian degrees, which Rosicrucian teachings are folded into Masonry a great deal. Again, Crowley's influence is, you might think I just love talking about this guy, which I do, but it's really just impossible to talk about some of these subjects without mentioning this guy. His influence is just towering. He's certainly the most important figure in the development of modern occultism, certainly over the last 100 years. His influence towers above his peers. I've talked about a lot of his peers before. Was he sane and rational, or unhinged and debauched? Probably some of both. No person who is out of their mind could produce the kind of written work that Crowley produced at the level that he produced it. I mean, he was a genius, and he did so much in his life, and so much, especially on the topic of magic. I mean, it's really just hard to get into, like within a couple of minutes. The thelemic system he created has permeated other magical systems over time. He was influential in the Golden Dawn. Again, it's like talking about physics and not bringing up Einstein. I'm going to talk about some other influential figures or masters, magical masters or occult masters that are a little bit more modern. This is a guy named Poke Runyon. He has an excellent documentary on YouTube. I think it's the Goetic. It's called Goetic Magic, or the Secrets of Solomon's Magic. You can look that up. Poke Runyon has his own temple, I believe, in California, the Order of the Temple of Astarte, where he practices Solomon's magic, the Black Mirror, all of that kind of stuff. Very, very interesting guy. Very, very cool dude. Poke Runyon is still around as far as I know. He is a master magician. So if you want to learn, check this guy out. I mean, he's really a fascinating individual. Poke Runyon. And you have this guy. A lot of you probably know who E.A. Coetting is. He is also a modern master. I would say he's more of a master of black magic. He's one of the foremost prevalent occultists in the world. Some of you might not like him. Some of you maybe do. I know, people have heard about this murder that took place, I think in England, by a kid that was into his Lucifuge theurgy. I'm not really going to share, much of an opinion on him. I could really go either way. I'm just putting it out there that this is a modern master magician and one of the leading occultists in the world. So, if you're interested, this is a guy to look into. He's really, really serious about it. And he's got a good handle and grip on ritual magic and how to do it. He's mostly concerned with Wicked and black magic, I think. There's also another guy. His name is Michael T. Ford, who was a contemporary of E.A. Coetting, who's also a modern master, a prolific writer, who you could look into as well. All right, that was a short one, I think. Questions and comments. Feel free to question and comment. I love talking to you guys. I'd love to talk more. And again, this is a very preliminary presentation. This is not meant to be, in depth. This is just meant to be kind of a quick rundown of some key points. I hope that you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you guys very soon.